Alexander Rogers, go tell him again for us down at the Bravo place, because Teddy is absolutely being thrusted upon us again, and we don't want it. And Dorit, at this point in time, your energy is giving, girl, you might need to back away from the cameras and just focus on getting your mental health together, because the lash outs are like, wait, what is happening? Help me figure it out, y'all. But anyways, what's going on? It's your girl Taya to be here. Welcome to my chat party. I'm so grateful to be able to sit before you guys and just share my little opinions. You know, not all facts, just my thoughts. Have a good time at this party. To all of you who always get on the dance floor and support, I appreciate you so much. I meant to actually give you guys a shout this week and it totally slipped my mind, so forgive me. Specific shout, but you know who you are. From the bottom of my heart, you already know what it is. Keep doing your thing, your spins, your twist, your turn, all of that. Your two-step on that floor. To those of you who are stopping by the party for a little bit, a lot of it, showing up fashionably early, fashionably late, I appreciate you in advance for hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, joining my guest list so it can continue to guest list. The guest list is a little pause right now, but I'm okay. I got 300 and something people at my party. That works for me. See, what people fail to realize is, again, I'm not a girl that's into the big grandiose things. The small and intimate is what matters the most for me. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. To those of you who will think about joining the guest party, that guest list, I appreciate y'all in advance. But we got to go ahead and get into it. This Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14 episode number 4. What in the wawa was freaking going on, y'all, at the end? Because I was lost and somebody has got to clarify these things for me. But let's take it to the beginning first, right? So we pick up where we left off. Dorit and Kyle are steady going back and forth. And in this time, obviously, you know, as I mentioned prior, and Kathy has mentioned, Kyle is hypersensitive at this point in time. And I can't be too mad at her and say I don't get it, because obviously she has a lot weighing on her right now, right? And people tend to lash out, you know, and create targets on other people's backs when they have a lot going on. Now, is it the best excuse? No, but it's understandable, right? And so I just feel like she's taking everything to heart, even the examples that, you know, Dorit had given. It's like, you know, girl, if I do this, then you'll lose your mind over it. But if you do this, I'm supposed to be okay with it. So I got, you know, Dorit's point with it all. As they mentioned, it just comes across very hypocritical for sure. And as I just mentioned before too in my video, I feel like at this point it's a losing battle for Kyle, you know, because it's like, Kyle, you don't really have anything good to stand on at this point. That makes sense. So she brings up losing her best friend, which definitely is awful. But I feel like, again, that's not an excuse for you to be doing the most with people, you know? So I don't know why she had to throw that in there, but I guess like it's, you know, something she had going on. And for the third time, okay, 1, 2, 3, we have Dorit slamming Erica into the conversation. And I'm just like, Dorit, read the room. Erica's sitting there quiet. And then furthermore, even if she wasn't, okay, well, no, if she was being loud and all in the combo, then okay, I could understand. But it's like she's sitting there quietly. Why do you keep insisting upon adding her, you know, into the conversation as your one up to why you're right? Like, girl, you should be able to handle that on your own without having to throw somebody into the fire. So at this point, I'm glad that Erica finally spoke up and, you know, kind of said what she said to clarify some things. And I get Dorit's point with her example, you know, of feeling like, you know, the whole eviscerate thing, blah, blah, blah. You know, it wasn't even that important, y'all. Okay, this is why I don't even need to get into the details, because it really wasn't that important. The point stood, the point was understood. Kyle, just as Dorit goes on to later say, she's just the type of person who she uses Dorit, I feel like in these instances, as a friend of convenience. So I get her point to that. And so I'm with Jennifer Tilly and Bose at this moment of the back and forth, pretty much like, can we just eat? Okay, eating is what brings me joy, and all of this riffraff is a mess. The only two that really seems to care deeply about this is y'all. Can we please? Bon appetit. And to Bose's point, also in her confessional, she was just saying the ladies are layered. There's a lot going on. You pull one pill back, there's something else. You lift up the rock, there's a big. Like, it's just it's a continuous thing. And to her point, we see that continues later on in the episode. And so Kyle and Dorit apologize to one another. And in that moment, I'm like, but is this really done? And as we see later on, it is not. Kyle keeps going. I know at that point, I was done. And so then Garcelle, I said, oh gosh, Garcelle, no, just leave it alone. Like, we were doing good. They wrapped up with the apologies and then we was about to eat. And then here you come, chimes in with the point that she agrees with Kyle that Dorit doesn't really know how to apologize. And I'm going to hop right on this bandwagon of Dorit because she was absolutely right when she says, well, at the end of the day, Garcelle, you just don't see it for me. You don't really like me anyway. So I'm not surprised that would come from somebody like you. Now, do I feel like Garcelle is a woman who stands on business and says what she means and means what she says, whether she likes you or not? Absolutely. But I'm still going to go with Dorit more on this because I'm just like, Garcelle, you don't see it to the point where you should have even have said anything and inserted yourself to Dorit, because then, you know, even with Dorit, she's going to put 1,000 on 10. I would have just left it alone. I would have sat there, kept making my faces, munching on my food, sipping on my drink, and being quiet. You know what I'm saying? Observing the show. So anyways, it was at this point for me, though, when Garcelle and Dorit had their quick little thing, that Erica was sitting there with her head down in her hands. I was chuckling, and then Kathy sitting there smelling the candle. I said, I can't, okay? Because it was just so awkward of a moment. Sidebar, I will say, just going on to the next scene, I love Garcelle and Sutton being in the bed together. They're just so cute, you know what I'm saying? Like, together talking, and I'm just like, where's my best friend for the bed? Where's my best friend that I can sit in the bed with and just have fun girl talk with? Love that. DJ shout out to Jennifer Tilly, telling Kyle, because now at this point, Kyle, Kathy, and Jennifer are kind of, I don't know whose room they were in, but they're sitting and talking for a little bit before they head out for the day. And Jennifer low-key was like, listen, I enjoy you and Dorit going back and forth. I'm like, not you admitting that out loud. Okay, well, tell it like it is, girl. Love that. And Kathy suggests that Kyle have a little conversation with Dorit that day. And I'm like, nope. Nope. We don't want to hear it. We already heard it last night. We heard it at, Sutton's event prior. No, please, no. We have heard enough. Now, is our wish granted? It's not, because then we hear about it on the boat, but we'll get to that. In that moment, I would say that I was happy that Kyle was kind of declining it in a sense. Like, she was saying maybe, but then she kind of ended with, well, let's just kind of, just give it a moment to just do its own thing organically. And I was like, yes, please, let's, that part, the latter, let's do that. Again, out the window. So sidebar, y'all, sidebar, super sidebar. I said, what in the hell was that two-step shimmy that Kathy was doing as she was getting ready? Did y'all see? Did y'all see that? I'm like, Kathy, what are you doing? What was that about? I mean, are you just happy? Were you fixing your slipper? Like, what is going on? Do you need to be down here at the party with us on the dance floor? Like, what in the world? But I guess it just speaks to the quirky that is Kathy, right? And so anyways, fast forward, the ladies hit the yacht. Some of them, well, really, it was Sutton at the end of the day, was feeling Captain Theo, okay? The food looked good. Kathy naturally is being bossy and trying to take over the layout and the setup of things, even trying to tell the chef how he should season the food. I'm like, Kathy, if you don't quit it, but we already knew this about Kathy, right? Because we saw this, I want to say, definitely don't remember the season number, but I want to say it was when they took a trip to Aspen and Kathy had her moment in the kitchen where she was being bossy with something, or it might have been something else. So we kind of already knew this. Kathy just can't help herself. I'm sure for the most part, people tend to just ignore her anyway. I know I would. If I didn't tell her, Kathy, go sit down, then I would definitely be like, okay, Kathy, girl, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. In one ear, out the other. And so Jennifer Tilly, I will say, is now getting her life all over with part 2 of the Dorit and Kyle Days of Our Lives saga and presentation, because they're, again, going back and forth. This time it's more lighthearted of a tone, and Kyle is getting emotional and crying. And I don't know if y'all noticed too, like Jennifer's eyes get wide at one point when she was looking at them. Again, like this was good to her soul. She was thoroughly enjoying the moment. And so I feel like, just out of the back and forth with Dorit and Kyle, for the things that we've already heard, the thing that we haven't that made the most sense and was the biggest takeaway for me is that they should be leaning on each other during this difficult time, because they're both going through it. They're both going through it, and they're going through the same thing, the same situation. And as it was referenced, Mauricio and PK, as they're in the same boat, they're weathering their storm together. And I'm like, again, typical of what most men, right? We always know there's exceptions to the rule, and same thing with women, but most men would pretty much do, like, with their temperaments, because they're more just kind of chill, when it comes to certain things. Like, they're not going to be doing the most in all of this. They get to the point of what it is. Meanwhile, women tend to be more catty, and they lead with their emotions, as Kyle and Dorit were doing. So I felt like in that moment, I was glad that they didn't miss the mark, thankfully, and that hopefully they would take that and run with it. But only time will tell as we go throughout the seasons. We'll definitely see. I know Dorit made some type of remark that she's going to kind of proceed in that relationship with caution. And guess what? I'm going to do the same when it comes to y'all, because y'all are doing the most for me. And who knows if this is steady or not. Who really cares at the end of the day? But if we're going to talk about it, who knows? Okay. And so they apologize again. And I'm like, next. So just in general, it seems like a couple of the ladies just have a lot going on, right? Life is definitely lifing for them. And so now we're to Garcelle and Kyle sharing their moment at the front of the boat, just talking. And Garcelle confides in Kyle about how she's feeling. And forgive me, I don't know if I said the right names at the front of the boat. It's Garcelle and Kyle at the front of the boat. But anyways, and so Garcelle's sharing how she's just pretty much having a hard time finding what the missing piece is in her life. And I always find it so interesting. Listen, we know that everybody is human at the end of the day, no matter what walk of life you come from, regardless to what industry or business you're in or whatever, right? But it always gets me when you have these people that you like to look at, from the outside. You're just like, whoa, she's, from what we see, like, she's doing her thing. She's accomplished, she's got that bag. She's beautiful. It seems like she's at peace and living her best life. She's single. She don't have to worry about no bad relationships. She's been free from that and all of that. But people still can tend to have things going on internally, right? We know that's not lost to us, but it just always is just interesting to me, right? Because sometimes you would never think that certain people might have something that they're tussling with on the inside, and they are, so that's pretty much her thing, and she gets emotional about that. And I definitely wanted to hug Garcelle in that moment. I was like, oh, Garcelle, don't worry, it's gonna work out. Just enjoy this time to yourself and enjoy the space that you're in, and everything else will fall into place as it should. Some things just take time. And so again, her and Kyle are just having a relatable conversation, and I find it interesting, and we even saw just from Sutton's party, it seems to me that Kyle and Garcelle are kind of banding together more. I feel like Garcelle is appearing to have Kyle's back a little bit more than usual. So anyways, like I said, Garcelle, I'm sure she will be okay. And it's just funny how life can change, right? For any and all of us, what once was yesterday just may not be today, but that's okay. We rock with it. We roll with it. It all works out for our good in the end. And so I was wondering about the conversation that Sutton and Dorit were having. Was Sutton just trying to be there for Dorit? And I get Sutton is a good person and has a good heart to a fault. That's me. Okay. I am Sutton. Sutton is me. I'm doing better with it now though, y'all. So I was just like, Sutton, didn't you and Dorit have some mess going on though in prior seasons? And I'm so glad I had that thought, because right after that thought, they showed the old footage of just flashbacks of them kind of getting into it. And again, we understand that people can move on from things, but I'm still going to pay attention to how you treat me. That cannot be forgotten. Well, I don't have to walk around being mad at you and holding a grudge, and I have sympathy and empathy for people when they're going through. It's just still the level of how much of myself am I going to give to you after you've treated me the way that you've treated me, right? I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. And if you were stuck stranded on the side of the road, sure, I'll give you a ride. Am I going to drive 1,000 miles like I normally would for you? No, but I'll drive you up the road somewhere and drop you off. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, Sutton, what is going on? Like, what are you doing? Right? What is really happening? So I was just like, thank you, Sutton, but at the same time, no thank you. You might want to go back and watch those past seasons because I think you've forgotten what type of time Dorit used to be on, okay? And still low-key inside is on because that's just who she is. And so Kyle ends up sharing with Garcelle that PK reaches out to her. And I'm like, WHY? He reaches out to you because why? And then for a moment, I was like, well, you know what? Then again, they were all the four of them, Dorit, Mauricio, PK, and Kyle were close, as couples as a point in time. So maybe that's not far-fetched. And when certain dynamics change, doesn't mean you have to lose the friendship that you, with that person that you've connected with. Because we even know that Dorit was so good of friends with Mauricio. I don't know if you remember that season where she was sitting up there kissing on his shoulder. And I was like, wait, hold on now. Oh, damn what y'all are talking about. Stop the camera. What just happened? Okay, I don't know if y'all remember that. This was sometime after the robbery occurred and they all met at Kyle and Mauricio's house. And I'm just like, wait, what? If you don't get all the way of my man. But whatever. I mean, maybe they just have that level of trust where they're okay with being in each other's men's spaces, significant other, whatever. So maybe that's just the type of dynamic that they have. They're okay with just being like that. So maybe it's just nothing out of the norm for PK to be reaching out to Kyle. But then I'm like, there's limits to this though. And I think it just depends on what is he reaching out and saying to her. Right? Because apparently we find out that it's something with text. But I guess time will tell and it'll come out. And then we'll make our determination from there on if it's shady business or not. And so I'm loving that Bowles shares she has a new man named Keely. Love their pictures together. They look great. And then just, the yacht ride comes to an end. And I'm like, not Sutton trying to slide in the captain's life. And so he carries her off the boat because Kathy puts a little buzz in his ear. I don't know if Kathy is being a little wing woman for Sutton or what. And then Dorit slides the man Sutton's number. And I'm like, at the end of the day, what I want to know is, are Captain and Sutton even around the same age? And I know that doesn't have to matter, but I don't know. It's giving I don't know. Okay, I will leave it right there. Okay, I'm just curious. But anyways, sidebar. So, again, just enjoying because now the ladies are at dinner for the evening and they're waiting to just kind of convene and talk and have their dinner. And, it just brought to my mind, even as Bose is sitting there, I think she was talking to Erica, just how her and Jennifer, as the new ladies in the bunch, are mixing in really well with everybody. I truly can appreciate that. Again, I'm really thoroughly enjoying what they're bringing to the table, their personalities, their lightheartedness, but fun, but quirky, but, businesswoman, because we know regardless to, Jennifer Tilly having this divorce money, she's definitely made her mark too. And, as an actress and the things that she's done. So just really enjoying them. And I said, for the conversation that the ladies ended up having, not Kathy keeping nudes in a safe at the bank. Only Kathy, because Kathy's a trip. So now dinner's underway. And so we have Garcelle, who again, I'm like, Garcelle, no, for the second time. No. When it comes to Dorit, decides that she's going to call Dorit out for reposting a video with Teddy when allegedly Dorit had said that her and Teddy are not friends. So Dorit at this point now is speaking in riddles about what she said, what she didn't say. So there's a sidebar conversation happening with Erica and Kyle. And Erica's pretty much saying to Kyle, I don't think that's what she's saying. Pretty much like, Dorit, no, you never said that you weren't friends with her. And so at some point they roll back to clarify, not clarify. And it definitely was giving that Dorit was making it seem like she don't see it for Teddy like that. But it was a video of, and I'm sorry, y'all, I don't know who Dorit's dad is. I think they say he was a rock and roll Hall of Famer, so shout out to that part. But she's reposting it because they were on a stage. Maybe they were at a concert and he was performing. Maybe Dorit was just smitten with the celebrity of it all in that moment, and the fact that this Teddy's dad appears to be some type of, I guess, legend, right? For sure. So maybe it was about that, but it's not what she said. So I don't know if I can give her that. And so that pretty much settles down a little bit in that moment. Then we get to Sutton in her speech that she wrote for the lady. I said, Sutton, I love you, but that speech and the tie ceremony was a no for me. That's nice. You're trying to set the tone for what it should be in the group and get things right. But I'm like, do you have the right group? Y'all tell me what you think. Okay, you tell me what you think. And then the sisters forever. I was like, okay, now that's really a stretch. But anyways, fast forward, the ladies next day are riding on a van together, and Sutton decides to bring up, and I'm like, Sutton, why? But I get her point, that Erica was talking about Dorit behind her back to Kyle. And she feels like it should have been more of an open dialogue. Like if Erica was feeling a certain way about whatever she was saying to Kyle, which we know was her just pretty much saying, Dorit is pretty much, not being honest right now because that's not what she said, then that should have been brought to the forefront and put on the table, right? And Garcelle also says that the moral of the story is they should be able to call each other out and just move on, right? And in her confessional, she says it's not really about Teddy, because Teddy is the example that comes up again with this whole reposting the video. And I'm like, God, why? And so she says it's not about Teddy, although Teddy will be thrilled. And I said, somewhere she is thrilled, okay? And kicking her heels up and doing her two-step and everything else for the irrelevance that she is. But anyways, I'm like, why are we giving Teddy this moment and having conversation about her? But we now have Dorit, who just starts yelling at Sutton, and they're back and forth. And I'm like, okay, see, Dorit, why are you yelling? And then I had to pause for a minute, and this takes me back to the beginning of my video. Like I said, Dorit is just stressed. She's stressed because I'm telling y'all, and please correct me if I am so freaking wrong, that just wasn't making any sense to me. I'm like, you're going off and yelling at Sutton right now because why? And I know she made a reference like, oh, well, you started yelling at me first. Sutton did not yell at her. Unless, again, I missed something, y'all. Let me know. And so from here, instead of absorbing the point that Sutton and Garcelle were trying to make, Dorit takes this opportunity to go off on a whole different tangent once Garcelle says, again, it's just the point of being open and honest. And Dorit says, okay, well, since we're being open and honest, she now says to Sutton, what you do is a pattern. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know the specifics, y'all, of what she said. Y'all know better than I do, because I was still just stuck. Like, girl, what are you just trying to create issues? Like, because you're not making any sense. And she said, it's getting very annoying. It's becoming a pattern with you too. And I'm like, so now Sutton's on the chopping block. And even in the beginning, Sutton was kind of like, oh no, like almost like, girl, don't you come over here with that bullshit. Okay, don't you start no mess. All right, you already been acted a fool with Kyle. And again, we kind of understand in a sense a little bit your points, but don't come over here with that shit. Okay, so I love Sutton doing that. And again, Dorit's like, well, it's getting very annoying. And I'm like, Dorit, no, what's getting very annoying is you, baby doll. What is getting annoying is you. What has been annoying is you. We're just trying to work with you, and now you're just doing the absolute most. And she's saying that Sutton is giving one, I guess, personality from 1 minute to the next. And it's like, no, not really. Because again, she didn't do anything. Like, you're the one who's wilding out because you're in your emotions and feelings about the things that you have going on. And you're pretty much deflecting and just, trying to find a reason where there is no reason. So y'all let me know if I'm wrong. The music is on. The dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold up the floor and hold up the wall, Rather, get on the dance floor, do your two-step. Let me know, what is the point that I'm missing when it comes to Dorit and Sutton? Was Dorit justified in what she said to Sutton and yelling? And was it necessary at the end of the day? I was just like so confused, and I still am. So please clarify for me, somebody. And what do y'all feel, even though we haven't really been given real context yet, about PK texting Kyle? Like, what them conversations be like? And all the things, y'all. Let me know your thoughts in between. You know what I'm saying? You know I'll be back next week to do it all over again. I feel like this episode is kind of like, giving regular, schmegular. A few things to talk about here and there, but nothing like super pressing. Hopefully that'll come later down the line. And I will say that I hope you guys are doing well. And if you aren't and were not in good spirits, I hope that something I said will put you in good spirits even for the moment. Just have a good day anyhow, a good rest of your week, y'all. And we'll be back to do it again. Until then, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. And I'm out. Peace.